This is the perfect time to share spooky stories about ghosts, monsters, witches, and ghouls. Whether you opt for a classic like Frankenstein or Dracula, or you indulge in something more modern, like Jordan Peele's Us, this is the season to be scared. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 scary ghost stories that aren't shown in news headlines. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Before starting the video, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 5. The Innkeepers. When working in indie horror, a big part of success is learning how to turn budgetary limitations into a positive. To rely less heavily on effects and sets and more on characterization and film craft. Ty West understands this better than most, which is part of what made his earlier House of the Devil so effective. The Innkeepers has some of the same DNA, but it's rawer and more real, following the mostly unremarkable exploits of 2 friends, Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy, as they work in a dingy old bed and breakfast and conduct nightly paranormal research in their place of business. They're well cast and feel like 2 of the most real people likely to see in a horror film. West, acting in moments like a horror-tinged Tarantino, enjoys lingering on them during their conversations and small talk, which builds a sense of casual camaraderie to what are supposed to be longtime co-workers. Of course, things do eventually start going bump in the night, and the film ratchets up into a classically inflected ghost story. Some will accuse it of being slow or of spending too much time dawdling with things that are unimportant, but that's mumblegore. Number 4. Mercer Williams House in Savannah, Georgia. Located across from one of Savannah, Georgia's most famous and pristine squares, Monterey Square in the city's historic district, the Mercer Williams House dates back to 1860. In the 1970s, famed preservationist and antique dealer Jim Williams restored the home to its former glory after years of neglect. This Italianate revival played host to 3 untimely deaths, including that of 11-year-old Tommy Downs when he fell off the roof in 1969, the 1981 fatal shooting of Danny Hansford by Williams, and Williams himself, when he died in the same room as Hansford less than a year after being acquitted of Hansford's death in a 4th trial. If the story sounds familiar, it's probably because you recognize it from the best-selling book Evil. Much like the rest of the city, the home was supposedly built right on top of unmarked graves. Rumors about the crime and ensuing ghost stories continue to swirl to this day. The full story of the Mercer Williams house is featured in an episode of the House Beautiful Haunted House podcast, Dark House. Number 3. The Impish Ghost. Did come home and find something put in a weird place, milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, and laundry detergent in the bathtub. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. Finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar, darn sugar. Every morning, my sugar bowl was empty. When did had enough, would point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane?" Within 5 minutes, get a call from her. "Thanks a lot," she'd say. He'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on, but didn't know what. Still can't explain any of it. Number 2. Ghost Pro. It is a single-family home, a wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I've been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and I have seen or heard in this house, this one event is my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friends started a garage band playing mostly Spanish rock, alternative music but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening, and they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed, because I worked the graveyard shift. Number 1. The Ghost of Deer Island. Anthony Ragusin, also known as Mr. Tony, first told this story in a Sun Herald column on May 20, 1922. He wrote that 2 fishermen camped on Deer Island off the coast of Biloxi in the early 1800s. They kept hearing strange noises but disregarded them until it was no longer possible. They swore they found a headless skeleton pursuing them when investigating the noise. They hurried from the island and promptly headed for their boat. According to legend, the skeletal frame belonged to a pirate whose commander hacked off his head before leaving his corpse behind as a ghostly guardian to watch over hidden treasure. Let us know your opinion in the comments section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.